Welcome back to the Sailrite Workbench. Today we're going to be making a custom tool belt. This is a belt I made a week or so ago for Zach as he was reupholstering a chair, and he wanted a way to store all of his tools while he was tearing out some old upholstery, and so I quickly whipped this one up, but today we're going to try to make an even better version and show you the step-by-step process, so let's get into it. And the first thing we need to do is determine what tools we want to store. So I'm going to go grab a few things and come right back. I gathered all of my upholstery tools and selected veg tan leather and waxed canvas as my materials. I used 1.5 inch webbing as a belt and a side release buckle so that it's easy to take on and off. The only hardware I need are 9mm rivets and a 2-inch D-ring. Alright, so now it's time to figure out kind of the game plan roadmap for this project. I want to figure out where I want these tools to sit on my hips and then figure out what style of pocket needs to hold them. So I'm just going to brainstorm for a second and I'll tell you what I figure out. The main things I want to change from the last tool belt is the placement of the scissors, improve the fit of the staple remover's pocket, and find different ways to store my scratch-all and utility knife. But the general shape of everything will stay the same. So using this as a reference, I'm going to figure out how big I want this to be. So I've got very rough dimensions, so I'll start cutting out the leather and then we'll refine it and shape it as we go. This is going to be for the scissors holder. So that'll be our mallet holder. Here's our big main panel and scissors. And we'll need more leather pieces later, but this will kind of serve as the foundation and everything that we build off of as we map out where we want tools to go and start to think about what kind of pockets we want to do. So the first type of pocket I want to make is a trapezoid pocket, is pretty much what I call it. And so it's a shape that looks like this, and it creates a pocket that looks either like this or like this. So depending on what tools you plan on holding, orientate it whichever way you prefer. And an easy way to remember is the bigger side of the trapezoid will be where you have more space. So you can decide if you want more space at the top or at the bottom. But if you have really large tools or you just want one big catch-all pocket, a big opening like this could be best for you. So choose whichever one you prefer. Looky there. I think the last thing I made from this fabric was one of these pockets, so I've already got one of my angles and a straight line. Do I want it wider? Let's go at least 1 inch wider. So now I need to create the hems for the pockets, and so I'm going to hem the sides and the top side, and I'm going to leave the bottom unhemmed and figure out a way to clean it up later, but it is a tool bag, so it doesn't have to be super perfect. For this style wax canvas pocket, I usually draw a 3/4 inch guideline for myself. Now I'm trimming a little bit of fabric from this corner so that when it gets folded and then folded again, it removes a little bit of that bulk. This is actually a leatherworking tool. It's called a surface burnisher, but since I've been doing a lot with wax canvas, I've actually found a second use for it in just pushing down the wax canvas, creating creases that hold. Something about this, sliding it along, creates a really nice crease. And I can go ahead and sew the top seam to keep that closed, but before I do that, I'm going to punch a couple rivet holes so that I can use some reinforcement rivets later. And the reason I punch the holes now rather than after I've sewn is the rivet hole gives me a good start and end point for my seam, so that I can terminate that seam at that rivet hole, therefore being hidden by the rivet once it's installed. The last thing I sewed on the leather work was leather, so now that I'm going over to wax canvas, it's important to run a test to make sure your tension is correct. And like I just mentioned, I'm going to start that needle right at the edge of the rivet hole that I created. Now I will make sure I place the final stitch in the rivet hole. then backstitch. All right, so now I've got the top hem sewn. I'm gonna place the pocket where I want it on this panel. And last time I did 3.5 inches. So this time I think I'm gonna do about the same, maybe 3 3/4 inches. So I'm just gonna mark a line there. And again, I want this to be square because I want the pocket to be square. And I know the pocket is about 7 inches. So score myself a line right there. Then get this lined up. Now we'll go sew that in. So now I have one side of the pocket sewn down. Last time when I made this pocket, you can see it trails off and gets lower on the right side than the left side. I forgot to do that. So instead of trying to salvage this mistake, it's really not that hard to just seam rip this, make a new pocket with the angle cut in at the top. So I'm gonna do that really quick, but all the processes will remain exactly the same as what we just did. Now I just make the hems like I did last time. So now I'll position the tools where I want them and start planning out where those creases should be so that the tools fit well. And you see kind of what I'm doing here. So I created a crease here and here so that the tool can slide in and have a place to go. And as I create those creases, it gets closer and closer to flush on the edge. I've got all my clips in place and the pocket is starting to look like a pocket, and you can even see where I had the tools. Later I'll sew in between those and make a spot for each one. But right now we need to finish sewing here and here. So let's go do that. So now I'll put the tools where I want them to go and then figure out where the lines in between them need to be sewn in. All right, back to the sewing machine. And since this pocket can still move around, I also did a little mark in the leather so I can point this line right to that mark I made so it'll be exactly how I had it laid out over there. Pretty nice. Let's keep making pockets. I want the scissors to be right here instead of on my left hip because this is kind of prime real estate, so it'd be really nice to have it right there. I think I want to use a similar concept to what I did with the trapezoid pocket. Do the same thing at the front and have it kind of taper off, make sure there's enough room for that bolt to fit. And I've already kind of started drawing out the shape of what I want the top piece to be so that it holds the scissors nicely. And I'm going to cut in approximately that line that I just free-handed. So now that I have this template, I will use an awl and transfer it to the leather. Using the mini round knife to get this curve. Looks pretty nice. I'm just manually backstitching here just to make sure this looks perfect. Because leather is less forgiving than canvas. So now I'm just pushing this side in to create a bigger gap to accommodate for that big old nut right there. And it's not super important, but it'll probably look a little bit nicer if I'm able to get parallel to this side. Mark that line. And to glue this down before I stitch it, I'm going to use S18 because it's a little bit stronger, well, a lot bit stronger than basting tape. And now I'm just masking off the area I don't want glue. All right, keep those separated and give the glue some time to set, and then I'll join the two pieces together. See if our scissors fit properly. And yeah, think that works. Next thing on the list is to find a place for the staple remover tool, and I'm going to do something very similar to what I did for the scissors, just over here. But right before I do that, I'm going to really quickly make a little loop for the scratch awl. I was planning to put it in this pocket, but obviously this has a pointed edge, so it's just going to pierce through the canvas. So I'm going to make a little loop for it that'll hold it right here. And there's a little gap right here, so why not put it there? So that seems to hold it pretty well, so I'll add a hole for the rivet to go. Over to the handy press. Quickly set that. Cool. Well, that solves that problem. Now let's figure out what to do with the staple remover. So this pocket's going to have an open bottom just like the scissors one. So I'll make another trapezoid. Seems to be the theme of the video. All right, so I've got that basted in its spot, and I have it perpendicular to the bottom, so we have a nice vertical look. And I'll try to match the other side to be vertical as well. Got a start and an end point, so back to the sewing machine. That fits pretty nicely, so the next thing I'm going to do is trim away some material from the top, similar to this cutout like I did last time, and then I'll also fold over some material so that the belt fits. So just because I think it'll look nice, I'm kind of matching the angle of this pocket. I'm going to stop when I get to where the scissors will be. So I'm going to trim out this area right here. To make it look a little bit nicer though, I'm going to use one of our corner radius punches so that I have a nice rounded curve in there instead of a sharp angle. So over to the back side, I have my 1.5 inch webbing, and now I'm just over on the back side figuring out how much I need to fold over. And now that I have that length, I can just use my acrylic ruler, transfer it to the other side. Starting to look like a belt. I think the last thing will be the holder for the mallet. So I just glued and added one panel just to give this a little bit more structure. I'll add a strap to install the D-ring, and then a little bumper right here, which keeps it from sitting flat so that it's easy to slide the mallet in and out. I'm going to go quickly sew the belt loop and that top seam. So I made my little bumper, which is just a 1/2 inch by 2 inch piece of leather. So I'm just going to place that directly underneath the D-ring so that it has something to rest on. So punch those rivet holes and set the rivets. And now all that's left is to take off some sharp corners with the radius punches, and then that completes this project. Rounded corners almost always look nicer than 90-degree ones, and these radius punches make it incredibly easy to get rounded corners. And I'm jumping on the fabricator machine because it's got black thread on it, so it'll hide well in this black webbing. So I put on these buckles, trimmed it down to the right length, and then sewed this in right here so that it doesn't come undone. And now all that's left is to load up the tools and try it on. Not too bad. I'm glad I decided to put the scissors right there first thing, because that's probably what I'll use most often. Hammer on this side. And my left hip is pretty much wide open, so I could do another big pocket like this and add it over there if I ever think I need more storage, but This is a good starting point. And that's all for this video. Thanks for watching, and I hope you learned something that'll help you as you make your own custom belt, because you probably have different tools than I do, but maybe some of the same techniques will work well with your project. Subscribe to the channel for more DIYs, tips and tricks, and a lot more in the future. See you next time.